Hold on, Queens. I've got a message for you. This is the legal stuff. You know, the stuff the lawyers say I must tell you. So remember, this broadcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I am just your friend. I am not a licensed therapist, and this broadcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Great. Hello, Sister Queens. Hello, Sister Queens. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, ladies. Come on in. Come on in. I am so glad to have you. I am so glad to have you. Come on in. Come on in and join us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much for joining me for our first episode in our 2025 Women on the Move series of Let's Talk. Yes, yes. I am just so honored that you would take time out of your busy schedules to join us. We greatly appreciate that. Now, for those of you that do not know and you're new to Sister Queens is an amazing women's empowerment platform dedicated to celebrating the incredible impact of women leaders across our communities. These leaders represent a diverse array of voices. They are educators, mothers, mentors, advocates, and change makers, each doing the vital work of transformation. But please note, as an organization, Sister Queens does not endorse or support any political candidate or campaign. Our programming is designed to highlight individual leadership stories, not political affiliations. We believe in the power of elevating voices and sharing authentic journeys that inspire others. We appreciate your participation and understanding as we continue to honor and amplify women leading with courage and conviction. Now, Sister Queens, can we talk for a moment? I want to come a little closer, come a little closer. In this sacred space of sisterhood, I just want to speak to my queens from the heart. Queens, we are not always going to agree. We may not see every issue the same way. And yes, sometimes we have concerns, questions, or even frustrations with one another. But that's a part of being in real relationships. That's a part of love. That's a part of growth. But here's the truth, ladies. How we handle each other in private shapes our healing. How we hold each other in public defines our power. Behind closed doors, we must and should be honest and brave and accountable. That's where we check in. That's where we check ourselves and challenge each other to rise higher. But, sisters, when we step in the world, we must do so arm in arm, not torn apart. We must never hand the world permission to disrespect us or divide us. We are not just women. We are warriors. We are visionaries. We are healers. And we are builders. And when we stand in unity, the world has no choice but to stand in respect. So, with all that being said, ladies, let's protect each other. Let's cover each other. Let's show up in public with grace, strength, and most of all, solidarity, even when we're still working things out in private. Because, ladies, when we stand together, we teach the world how to treat us. This is sisterhood, not perfection, but protection. Not always agreement, but always alignment in purpose and power. So, ladies, let's be that for each other now, always, and unapologetically. Got it? Good. All right, ladies, now that we've covered all that, if you could do me a huge favor and just tag another queen and also share this live to your pages, we would greatly appreciate it. So tag, 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 and share, share, share. We would greatly appreciate that. We're going to see who we have on for a moment so we can say hello. Hello, beautiful queens and some of my kings. Hello, my brother Melvin. Hello, hello. Hello, my Winnie Pooh. Hello, Jacqueline. Hello, Betty. Hello, Tori. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Sister Queens. We greatly appreciate you. All right. First of all, we're going to take care of some housekeeping. Woo woo. Don't forget, we'll be giving away 2 prizes during tonight's show. We're so excited to announce that we'll be giving away the amazing book by Mel Robbins entitled The Let Them Theory. It's a powerful read about setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and letting go. And we can't wait to bless one of our sister queens with it. We will also be giving away one $25 gift card. But remember, you must be present to win. However, in order for your name to be entered into the drawing, you must type #scales in the comment. That is hashtag SCALES in the comments for your entry to be calculated. Remember, once again, it's hashtag scales in the comments for you to be entered into the drawing. Secondly, ladies, if you didn't know, the Sister Queens are proud to present the Let's Talk series, Women on the Move. For the entire month of June, we're spotlighting exceptional women who are breaking barriers, building legacies, and balancing it all with grace and grit. These fearless leaders are showing up in business, government, community, and beyond. And they're ready to share their journeys, challenges, and triumphs with you. So tune in, ladies, for inspiration, empowerment, and real talk you don't want to miss. Thirdly, ladies, we have selected our third stop on our Support Black-Owned Business Tour. So please join us for the third stop. We're headed to Burning Tree Barbecue, located at 3090 3rd Avenue South. And that's on June 28th at 5 p.m. And you already know, lady, the vibes will be on fire. So come out, enjoy good food, great fellowship, and a powerful reminder of why supporting our own matters. Bring your appetite, your squad. Let's show up and show love to this amazing Black-owned gym. We're going to circulate our dollars with purpose and power. Lastly, ladies, a heartfelt thank you to the over 4,700 sister queens who have joined our unstoppable movement of positivity, power, purpose, and progress. Every like, every share, every encouraging word is a spark. And together we are setting this world on fire with love, leadership, and legacy. This is more than just a movement, ladies. This is a sisterhood, and we are just getting started. All right, ladies, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with that bio. Sister Queens welcome Jefferson County Commissioner and mayoral candidate LaShonda Scales. The Honorable LaShonda Scales, LHD, was elected in 2018 to serve as the Jefferson County Commissioner for District 1 in Jefferson County, Alabama, making her tenure the first ever to be occupied by a woman. In 2022, Commissioner Scales was overwhelmingly reelected for a second term by her constituents. In addition, she is the first Black three-term city council member to represent District 1 for the city of Birmingham, Alabama, and that is through 2009 through 2018. She has been an active resident in the metro area for 29 years. Scales is best known for her public policy advocacy for underserved residents of Jefferson County, building regional alliances to support local governments, advancing equal opportunities for small businesses and women in government. The Honorable Commissioner LaShonda Scales received an honorary doctorate of human letters, LHD, from her alma mater, Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Moreover, she is a proud alumna of Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Leadership Birmingham 2016, Leadership Alabama 2022, and Jefferson State Community College 2005. She is a 24-year veteran public relations and marketing professional. Commissioner LaShonda Scales and her husband Michael have been married for 33 years. They have two beautiful daughters and are faithful members of Faith Chapel Christian Center, Birmingham, Alabama. Commissioner LaShonda Scales serves as the chair of the Public Works, Community Services, Intergovernmental Relations, and NACO and NOBCO committees, HBCU liaison, and member of all Jefferson County Commission committees. Join us, Sister Queens, in extending a warm welcome to Jefferson County Commissioner and mayoral candidate LaShonda Scales as she joins Let's Talk. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, beautiful. Hello, how are you?
So wonderful. How are you, my queen?
I am wonderful. And ladies, if you're just joining us, I want to welcome you again to our first episode in our Let's Talk series for Women on the Move with our special guest, Jefferson County Commissioner and mayoral candidate, LaShonda Scales. So welcome again, Commissioner Scales, and let's give her some hearts. Ladies, let's show her some love. Let's show her some love. And thank you again for agreeing to be on Let's Talk during our Women on the Move month. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you look so beautiful, baby.
Oh, you do too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to jump right into your interview questions.
Okay. Good.
The first part is a two-part question. Okay. You've been a trailblazer in public service for a while now. But first, tell us a little bit about LaShonda, the person.
Well, first of all, I want to say good evening to you as the host and to all of the beautiful queens that are joining us tonight. This means a lot to me. And it's important that women do stick together. I heard all of that coming in and I was like, it made me feel so good. And so first of all, I want everyone to know that I am a mother of two daughters. I have no sons. I have two daughters. I come here tonight as a grandmother of a granddaughter. And obviously, I have a husband of 33 years. Next week, it'll be 34 years.
Praise God.
And I will say this. I tell people all the time, I said, my mother was a nurse and my mother had a very tender heart toward people. And that's where I get that from. My business acumen obviously come from my father. He's been, I'm 54. My father has been in business over 50 years. And so he has that business side. Everything's kind of business, And so a mixture together makes me who I am. but I genuinely love people, and I came into this arena because of that. And so I do want people to know I come here tonight not being the superwoman, not trying to be, something more than what I am, but to really kind of share my experience and share my heart with you all, and to let you know that God is not a respected person. If He does it for me, He can also do it for you. And so it's just my pleasure and my honor to be here with you tonight.
Thank you. Now, what first inspired you to even enter into politics? You and I were talking. I was like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
What inspired you to enter into politics, and what keeps you going after all these years?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, first of all, it was God inspired. When I was helping actually a gentleman who had served in a council office under the Bell administration, and he was running for city council. And he said, LaShonda, would you help me? And I helped him, and he won. And I never forget the day of the election. My husband said, the Lord told me to tell you for you to run for city council. And I'm thinking, like, I don't want to be a city councilor. I had never seen things being done as a result of people holding office in our community. And you ask the question, well, what keeps you going? The same thing that inspired me, God. So once God gave me my sense of purpose, and why is it that He called me, a girl out of West End, zip code 35211, that some would have probably said wouldn't amount to much, and allowed me to have certain experiences. And it grew my compassion really sincerely for people. And so that's what keeps me going. When you wake up with a sense of purpose and not this just being a job where I have to perform, that's what keeps me going. So same God that led me into it, it's the same thing that leads me into this passion that I have for people. And I'm just more inspired, more so than ever before.
Yes, and I love your passion. I love your passion, and that's one thing I love about you the most. Is just your passion for people, and we greatly appreciate that. We greatly appreciate that. I want to ask you this now. You serve as a Jefferson County commissioner, and you're now stepping into the mayoral race.
Yeah.
What drives your continued passion for public service at this level?
Well, and I'm glad that you asked that question, because one of the things I woke up to immediately once I became a commissioner, first of all, I'm so grateful for my district for affording me this opportunity. I could not have done it without them. And 47% of my district makeup is Birmingham. And the passion that I have for people in general, it's hard for me to see you struggle and I can't do anything about it. Michelle Obama said it best. If you're at the table, then you need to give up your seat if you're not going to speak up. I realized very quickly that the law, as it relates to Alabama state law, which is the 1901 Constitution, it doesn't allow me as a commissioner to override city government. So a lot of times when people would talk to me about the police not showing up, we need to get our trash picked up. We needed certain things that they knew I was a strong advocate, on the city council. I couldn't do that as a commissioner. And what I wanted to do and what I attempted to do as an example is that, because you cannot override the city, I tried to get us a substation on the eastern side of Birmingham. And then when this current administration came over and said, well, that's being political and we don't need that. And the law basically is on the side of the city. And so we couldn't do it, even though we needed a substation. We needed the presence of the police, but it didn't matter about it being good. It was the fact that the city did not agree to do it. And so because of that, what I made up in my mind to do is that I'm not going to speak against that person. I'm going to speak against the institution of believing that we have to settle for less than what we pay for as taxpayers. And I'm offering myself. When you cannot do anything about what someone else makes as their decision, then you say, I will offer myself to be a solution.
Absolutely. And that's what we definitely want to hear, what you, LaShonda Scales, are going or wanting to offer the people of Birmingham.
Yes,
Let me ask you this. In a state that has elected 2 female governors, why do you think the city of Birmingham has never elected a female as mayor in its 154-year history.
Well, let's talk about the Mayor Council Act.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back to what established Birmingham. Number one, you had Bull Connor. You had a commission form of government, which was under what they call public safety. And so we know through the civil rights movement that didn't work for our people in terms of Black people. And
Mm-hmm.
so when the four little girls and that bombing took place, we had two little boys that were killed, but everybody talks about the four little girls, right? Which five of them actually were affected. Nevertheless, the Mayor Council Act came about at that time. If you look at the first section of the Mayor Council Act, section 4.06, it only refers to the male gender.
Mm.
It only says he and him when it references the mayor. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that that has carried over in a civil rights town, that here we are talking about how these four little girls in that bombing changed the world. They would be grown adult women had they lived. And
Amen.
so I believe if we can change the trajectory of the city of Birmingham that changed the world, why are women right now, instead of us running on, I'm a woman, which I'm not, why don't we run on qualifications, but do not use my gender as a woman against me?
Correct.
Don't let
Correct.
that glass ceiling be the divide between having a solution to a problem rather than creating a problem.
Exactly. Because you happen to be a woman, but still are
Absolutely.
more than qualified. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I say about being Black. I'm qualified because I'm qualified. I just happen to be Black.
That's right.
So, yes,
That's right.
absolutely. Now, as a champion for small businesses and equal opportunities for women in government,
Mhm.
what progress are you most proud of? And where do you see the greatest opportunity for change?
So let me just tell you, since that's a two-part question,
Mm-hmm.
as a council member, I can say probably one of the greatest achievements for me, I've had many, but one of the greatest achievement was to have a moratorium on payday and title loan companies. They were wreaking havoc on our working class citizens of Birmingham. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go and get a $500 loan and find yourself paying $5,000 in return. Um, we were so blessed to be able to not only have a zoning ordinance that allowed for Birmingham to stop the growth of it, but President Obama came to Birmingham at Lawson State Community College, recognizing that we had done this work. And when I say we, I'm talking about myself, along with my council colleagues, but it was sponsored by myself. One of my greatest achievements on the commission side, all of us have been concerned about our water system, our sewer system rate. I was so fortunate to be able to go in there and to negotiate when we did the bonds on last year. A lot of people, they were kind of caught up in the Nick Saban and the fact he was retiring from Alabama, that they did not know that we had refinanced more than a $2 billion bond debt in 2013. That's what that warrant was for, but we did it last year in 24. I wasn't on the commission at the time, but let me tell you what we got accomplished. We were
Mm-hmm.
able to get 15% of that $2.2 billion deal where Black companies, I didn't say you
Okay.
represented a firm as a Black person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Black firms had the opportunity to participate in that particular process. In addition to the fact, we had a sewer assistance program that allows for the county that if you have leakages in your homes or whatever, you can be able to apply for assistance through the county, so we can look at some of those long-term problems that some of our parents who are on a fixed income, or some of our citizens who don't have the money to pay the sewer portion of their bill, to
Mm-hmm.
help you with the problems if we do have a leak or whatever the case may be. The more important thing is that it allowed for us to save ratepayers $1.2 billion. A lot of folks, if you've been keeping up with it, you would know that that sewer was going to actually, Stephanie, implode. We were at the base of 25 going into 30. Believe it or not, we were going to be paying a triple amount on our sewer cost. I'm happy to tell us tonight that we're at 3.49% rate increase, period. Yeah, for the
Okay.
next 30 years. So I'm very proud of that work, proud of Coca-Cola. They were getting
Mhm.
ready to leave Birmingham. And I worked along with our economic development component of the county, in addition to my colleagues. Happy to say it's in my district. We secured $2 million to make sure that we participated in that program so that Coca-Cola can continue with the 300 plus jobs that they already have, and then hiring locally within the community, at least 50 plus more jobs. So altogether, we're talking about a more than $335 million project that if you come on up from the
Mhm.
west side, you're coming east, or if you're coming from east and you're going downtown, all you got to do is look over on the side of the interstate. We're up and rolling.
Good, good. And
Construction is up.
ladies, put your questions in because baby, she's not afraid to answer any of your
Not at
questions. So
all.
not at all. We are ready. So if you have questions for Jefferson County Commissioner LaShonda Scales, please put those in the chat and we will definitely get to as many of those as we can. My next question for you. You are known for advocating for underserved communities, actually earning the brand She Works. That's good. I love that.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
will be
Mhm.
your top priorities that Birmingham must address to create more equity and opportunity?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me say this. Public safety for me has to be number one. You cannot have community development, you cannot have economic development if you don't have public safety as your main priority. The
Mhm.
good thing, Stephanie, about being a county commissioner, it allows me to preside over 35 cities. I'm able to see how the Hoovers and Mountain Brooks and Vestavia Hills and some of the other affluent cities, how they have less population, but they're getting a lot more accomplished. And one of the things I know we have to do, we have got to take people out of feeling unsafe in a city where they live and where they pay taxes. In
Yeah.
addition to that, we've got to clean up our city. Must clean it up. That's not even a part of our platform per se.
Hmm.
But we are talking about we got to clean up Birmingham because we got to make Birmingham attractive. This is how you attract people to your city. And last but not least, we know that when it comes to our roadways, I'm reading that right now.
Yes.
You, people don't understand public safety and the safety of your road conditions. They not only matter in terms of public safety, but guess what? That's your commerce. Your commerce are on your roads. This is how we're able to get trucks going back and forth to provide goods and services. So, as you know, I won't just say as a candidate, as your mayor,
Hmm.
I am to, in short, is that we're going to get to work immediately. We're not talking about what's going to happen in a year or two. We're talking about putting plans in place because you know, Stephanie, if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. Let me see if we have any additional questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep those questions coming. We definitely want to answer any questions that you may have. Here is one. As a mayoral candidate, how important is it to actually live within the city limits of Birmingham?
I think that's, thank you, Ms. Parks. I will say this, that's a testament to your commitment to the city. You cannot want to be the head of the city government and refuse to live in the city. I think that that's being hypocritical because what it says, Stephanie, is that when you lack the commitment, you will also lack the ability to fight for us, to protect us when it's necessary. You know, a lot of times when we don't serve with compassion, we serve with another motive, and that's called dictatorship. And that's not what we're about. We're about
Mm-mm.
I'm here, I live here, I'm a resident of here, I was raised here, I was educated here, and I'm here to stay. And we're going to continue on to fight and do what is in the best interest of our citizens and not myself.
Amen. Is that not like, and I am outside of the Birmingham city limits. Is
Mhm.
that not a rule that you have to live within the city
That's a
limits?
law.
Okay, okay. It's an actual law
That,
that you
that,
have
yeah,
to.
that's a law. You
Okay.
when you're running for office, you do have to have a residency in the city limits of where you are talking about serving.
Okay.
Some have found a loophole, but that's okay. Again, I say when you invest in the city where you live, it is hypocritical for any of us, including myself, that if you refuse to really live here and take up residence here, why would you encourage others to live here?
Okay. All right. I didn't even know, like I said, anybody that would want
As a
to.
matter of fact, J.
um,
Richmond Pearson would always tell me, he said, LaShonda, the leader leads.
Mm.
Got to lead by example.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. Let me see before we go on, what else do we have? Okay, what can we do about police response time? And we will definitely get to the crime, but I'll go ahead and answer this, let her answer this right quick. What
Mhm.
can we do about police response time in Black or high crime communities, meaning the amount of time it takes to get police out and active?
Well, thank you, Ms. Handy. Let me tell you what we must do. First of all, we have got to get our personnel within the police department up to par. Right now, the city of Birmingham is less than 50% operating or operative as it relates to our public safety. How can they respond in a timely manner when you don't have enough police on the force? And I think that that's something that people really need to know. And we have a plan in place that says that we are going to promote the commitment of our officers by, first of all, they need to live in the community where they patrol. We
Mm-hmm.
know that we got to get out of these cars. We got to engage the general public. And when you are in that community, I believe not only will it increase our response time, but it lets the citizens know you care. And so to answer her question in short, we've got to beef up our police numbers. The numbers does not allow for a faster response time. So as your mayor, my attitude is that's the problem. But then what are we going to do to fix it? And that
Absolutely.
is we're going to move fastly on these academies. We're going to make sure that we provide incentives for those who will stay within the city limits of Birmingham in terms of working for us. And you do that because you increase the pay. You make the benefits where they're competitive and you give them the resources to empower them, as in the police department, to do their job.
Okay. Last question before we move on. Many people say the mayor can't control crime and is not responsible for the increase. What is your perspective on that?
Well, I will say this, Miss Bimbo, is that my attitude about that is what does the law say? Section 4.06 of the Mayor Council Act says that the mayor has the complete authority to enforce the city's laws and ordinances. That's what we have to do. It's not a matter of whether I like you or I don't like you. It's about following the law. The law is very explicit in terms of the way it was written. And I just know that we have to have a mayor that has the courage to do what is right. And for those convicted felons or even those who may be first time felons, if they are committing a crime in Birmingham and it is proven to be true, then guess what? They have to be prosecuted.
Hmm. Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ladies. All right, ladies, it's time for our first giveaway. And our first giveaway is our awesome book, and it is Women on the Move by Mel Robbins. Ladies, if you have not read this book, you are missing a treat. So, we're going to give away that. It's wonderful. And to enter the drawing, you must type hashtag scales. That's hashtag SCALES to be entered into the drawing. So go ahead, ladies, and get those entered so that we can get those names in and see who the winner is going to be. All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to see if we have any additional questions, and then we'll take those two right after. Okay, let's get those hashtag scales in. That's hashtag scales. You're going to love this book, ladies. I tell you, it is a life-changing book. You're going to absolutely love it. So whoever the winner is, let me know what you think. But when I say it's a life changer, it is a life changer. And it is the let them theory. So you're going to love it. All right, let's go ahead and get that calculated and see who the winner is. Okay. The winner is Betty Hopkins. Betty Hopkins, you are the winner of the Let Them book by Mel Robbins. And Betty, you've got to let me know what you think, because when I say it's a life changer, honey, it is a life changer. And we will get that sent right to you. So don't forget to send me your contact information so that we can make sure we have that mail directly to you. All right. Congratulations. Congratulations again. Yes. Let's jump to the next question. Now that ownership as well as the deciding votes on the Birmingham Waterworks Board has been taken, how will this regional aspect affect the majority of the people who are served by the waterworks?
Well, that's a good question, Ms. Weldon. Let me say this. What I believe is going to happen is that it will impact negatively our senior citizens who are on a fixed income. I also believe that it's going to impact those of our citizens who are already underserved, basically meaning that they don't have the money. There was a time, Stephanie, that we could be able to call, especially for myself. There's a lot of quiet work that I do, and that is to help people to be able to get their payment arranged, payment arrangements, because they didn't have it. Not because they didn't want to pay, they just didn't have it. Well, remember, when you have a regional approach, most of the people who are serving now on that board, they don't live in Birmingham. Even though Birmingham citizens put in the sweat equity, the tax dollars, and they made this Birmingham Waterworks be what it is. The unfortunate reality is that if you don't live here, you're probably not concerned. And so that is a concern for me, because I'm so accustomed to being able to call certain people in management and say, hey, I have this person, they need this help. Can you assist? Well, a lot of those people are being shifted around now. Some of them are even being let go in the process. So I do believe, especially those who are on a fixed income, or for those who don't have the money to pay, the working poor, I think it's going to affect them greatly. So, when it comes down to that vote anyway, I just don't believe we did the work on behalf of the city to even allow that vote to take place. It could have taken place, but it should have been fought, Stephanie, because we put in the work. The citizens of Birmingham did. And under a mayor's administration, I can tell you, we're going to continue to fight, because a lot of people don't know, as long as it is in litigation, meaning that it is in the courts, regardless to who is managing it right now, and the fact that the assets were sold in 1999, we keep it in court. It's hard to get bond issued on those in terms of on that waterworks board, because, hey, you're in court. So we just got to battle it out. And we have a floor of nothing but lawyers. And I say that they need to earn their keep. And that's what I believe. You have to fight for it. If you don't fight for it, they will come back. As usual, when I say they, I'm talking about the state. Right. And the state already has a House bill to take over your police department. If it goes through, that's exactly what's going to happen. You have a Birmingham Airport Authority. If we're not careful, that will be next on the list as well, because we don't have home rule. And when you don't have home rule, he who holds the gold makes all the rules. But I believe we have to fight.
Explain home rule when you say that, for those that may not understand what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am. In other words, as a city government, as a county government, all of the power in terms of the law rests with the Alabama state legislature. So a lot of times when people are talking about, well, the governor did this and the governor did, no, it's your state representatives and your senators. Yeah. The governor signs it into law because that's the executive branch of government. That's one of their duties. They manage the government in terms of our capital, and you're talking about on a state level. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the deal. That's the reason why we have to have people who are very knowledgeable about the law and how they can be able to best fight for us so that Montgomery doesn't continue to do something that has never been done in Birmingham before, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the state takeover. They did it with the school board. They've never done it with the city of Birmingham.
Wow. Now that you bring up the school board, I'm glad you said that. According to the National Center for Education
Mhm.
Statistics, the average high school graduation rate is at 87.4%. That's national.
Mhm.
Our Alabama State Department of Education report card, and that's 2324, listed the Birmingham City School District rate as 81.11%, or roughly 1 out of 5 students that will not graduate. And we have a chronic absenteeism rate of 13.64%. What initiatives will you propose to address graduations and absenteeism?
Well, that's a great question because let me just tell you the truth. We're going to expand more of what I already do. In my
Mhm.
district, they refer to me as Mama Scales. I see you coming up, Ms. Devon. She knows that. Um,
Mhm.
and I didn't ask her to be on here tonight, but since you're here, I want to give you a shout out. But I believe exposure, Stephanie, is everything. Coming from a girl that didn't have much, mom got up to work every day, but she had 4 children and she had a husband that he was dead, and she and my father were not together. My mother had to struggle to take care of us, and she did take care of us. And here's one of the things that I know: exposure is everything. When
Mhm.
you take a child and put them into an environment and you give them positive affirmations. In my district, I tell my children, you are born to win.
Yes.
Winning is in your DNA. We don't accept I can't because yes, you can. That's what people know about me in my district. And then I take my children to events and places that they probably couldn't get nowhere else because I once was one of them. And because of that, I know that you change the way a child thinks about education because you make learning fun and you equate learning to earning. When you learn, you earn. That's what Mama Scale say. When you learn, you earn. That means I get paid. I don't have to stand out on the corner. I don't have to be what we call the pharmaceutical, and everybody knows what that is online.
Mhm.
You don't have to do that. Mama Scales is going to show you how you can take all of your creative energy and we can channel that energy and with some exposure and then partner you with people who can also train you and develop you. And then my job is to get you opportunities.
Great.
And our children, they listen. I'm real excited. In my community, one of my adopted schools, which is Huffman High School, we graduated this year over 250 students. But this is
Wow.
how we win.
Mhm.
You win because you invest. And when you invest your children, they will give out what we invest into them.
Now, Miss Devon had a question.
Mhm.
Um, she said, concerning the mayoral race, do you think it will be a division of the Black vote or the African American vote?
Well, if I'm honest, to be honest with you, Mr. Vaughn, when I ran in 21, I realized I offered myself as a candidate, which means that I'm interviewing for a job. And it's up to the citizens of Birmingham, black, white, Hispanic, it didn't matter. They had to decide who they thought was the best choice for them. I personally do not believe that there's a splitting of the black vote other than what we allow.
Mm.
Because as voters, here's an opportunity where you can look at the facts. I pray to God this time that we are looking more at performance and not the personalities. A lot of time we give away votes. We give away our own vote because we say, well, I know so and so. That's my girlfriend. That's somebody that I know, or I knew him. I knew his dad, or whatever the case may be. And you said, but look at your community. Look at your community. And so when you ask the question about the black vote, I say we have more than black people who are voting. And my job is to make sure that people know what you're offering, LaShonda, and then give us a plan and a vision that we can grab hope to and say, I can believe in that. And I know that she has the capability to get it done.
That's what I like when the candidates tell what they're going to do and how they plan to get it done. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Now you wear many hats. You're a wife, you're a mom, you're a nana, and an entrepreneur. As a woman, how would you implement that work-life balance once elected as mayor? As you know, men don't really have the same challenges as us women.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. And I thank God that my dad he was a grinder. So ladies, y'all got to bear with me. I told you earlier that, he was a businessman and entrepreneur, obviously.
Who was your daddy? Now, don't tell who your daddy
Oh,
was.
stop it. I won't say it in this setting, but I
I'll
will.
say it.
But I will tell you this. My dad always told me that there are seasons in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to know when that season in your life is at a crossroad, or you just got to know. My attitude, in short, is that when you see your constituents are behind, you got to grind. When your constituents are behind, you got to grind. And what does that mean? Yes, I go to sleep when I need to, but I'm a woman, and I learned years ago I was a girl in a man's world. That's what someone told me. You're a girl in a man's world. So that means that I got to compete even more so than the male counterpart. And because I do, I just say, hey, give me the grace, God. I pray about it. And I take my naps when I need to, but I take plenty of vitamins so I can be in the game.
Absolutely.
Brothers are at the table. The only time I can be able to do what I need to do on behalf of my people, that means I got to be at the table too. And I can't say I'm tired and, I don't feel like it and all. I don't have the time for that. There will be that season in my life I can be able to do that and join my mother in retirement. But that's not what this season is. And I will tell the sisters, though, when we move forward, yes, you do have to have a balance. I'm not saying get so out of balance that it affects your health, especially your mental health. But what I am saying is when you got to go in there and do what you need to do it because you have the capacity.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we're going to get to, will you give us, and we're going to pop some things up for you. Will you give us a brief historical background about Birmingham? And we're going to go ahead and get that.
Well, first of all, I want our citizens to know that Birmingham was founded in 1871. I graduated from Leadership Birmingham, and we talked about a lot of historical facts, but I think that these facts are the reason why we need to go back to knowing how we became the Magic City. Because from 1871 to 1960s, that's how we became known as the industrial city of the South. And it was through steel production in our railroad. And then from 1881 to 1920, we grew fastly, so fast that that's how we became known as the Magic City and Pittsburgh of the South. And of course, later on, we were then known for our civil rights movement and UAB medicine.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this before we get to that, what we have on now, the violent crime. Birmingham recorded 150. Now, this is by the year. This is year. So we're doing year to year. So Birmingham recorded 151 homicides in 2024, the highest since 1933, despite overall violent crime decreasing by 7.5%. Now, mind you, again, these statistics are based over a year and do not take into the account the recent reported numbers of decrease in Birmingham's crime rate. But my question to you is, and then we'll also cover what you have, what specific strategies will you implement to address homicides in Birmingham?
Well, first of all, we will have proactive solutions. One of the things that people need to know is that you cannot defund the police department and wonder why the police is leaving. So as a commissioner, I noticed that what my counter cities are doing whatever that they want, they make sure it's in the budget. So if you believe in public safety, that's where they put up a lot of their public safety dollars. They put the general fund budget into work or into practice. The same apply to when it comes to your city being clean. They want to attract families and they want to attract businesses. Then they invest in the cleanliness of their community, which is public works. The same apply to when it comes down to your school district. Same apply when it comes down to economic development. Our people want to see jobs, right? So when we're talking about the police department and what are you going to do about crime, you got to be proactive. You cannot continue to respond to every single crime that happens when there are proactive solutions that you can do. For example, another program that was defunded, DARE. We talk about crime in our youth department with our youth. How in the world do you defund a program like DARE? And you probably remember that, Stephanie.
I do. Tell them what DARE was for those.
And then you had PAT, which was Police Athletic Program. Why did you get rid of that? Why did you defund that? But more importantly, let me say this, Stephanie, not only having proactive solutions, when you dial 911 and you're in an emergency, you don't want to be placed on hold. I mean, every second that passes by is a second that could cost you your life. It's a matter of life or death. Well, I'm talking about we got to staff it properly because right now you don't have enough dispatchers. And then we got to have enough police to respond to the call rapidly. And then especially if you are one that has multiple felonies, the city of Birmingham under my administration, you're going to be arrested. You're not going to be able to get out either. Not as soon as you get in. That's what's been happening. We're talking about arresting you. We're talking about making sure that you are punished to the fullest extent of the law based on the crime committed. But what we're not going to do is to settle for mediocrity and believe that Birmingham has to be a crime-ridden, dirty city with schools that are not performing to the level that we need. So when it comes down to that police department, I'm talking about community engagement. I'm talking about putting those officers in the community and incentivizing them to be able to live here. A lot of our officers, they don't live in Birmingham. I think a lot of these blighted properties, why don't we renovate those properties as the city? Because a lot of these properties are in land bank. Why don't we take those properties, renovate those properties, and then let that be an incentive for our officers to live here? And then we give them a police car so that not only does that allow them to work in that vehicle, it also lets the community know the police is in their community. And they're there not only to arrest, but to protect and to serve.
Okay, we're going to pop back up one of your additional slides that you had on as well that talked about crime. Now go through that for me, if you would, please.
Sure. So Birmingham had a population loss after the 2020 census. And so at that time, we were at 196,910, which basically we were 2% decrease even after the census was taken. Well, based upon that population loss, Birmingham is now ranked number 4 in the state. In 2017, under this administration, we're number 1 when I was a council member. And how our homicide numbers, this is one of the things that every citizen should be concerned about. When you speak of Huntsville in 2023, they only had 19 homicides. As a commissioner, I have to look at that. When you're talking about in 24, they went down by 1, but that was only 18. Mobile, 33 in 23. 24, 37. Montgomery in 23 was 75. In 24, 61. They went down. But Birmingham, if you look in our column for 2023, if you add 19, 33, 75, you still would not come up with 135. You're talking about the 4th largest city with the most crime. Okay. And the same applied to 2024. You add 18, 37, 61, you still don't come up with 151. And we're talking about dead persons, crime that was committed one against another, and it's called a homicide. And so we have to look at that, because you got to remember Huntsville is now really Huntsville, USA. That's what they call themselves. And billions of dollars have gone into the city of Huntsville to grow it. Same apply to Mobile. When you think about Airbus, when you're talking about they have a port with international trade, when you're talking about Montgomery, EJI, which is the Equal Justice Initiative, their tourism at the capital far exceeds Birmingham. So Birmingham has to get on the move and recognize we were not going to continue to remain number one just because that's what we've been for over 50 plus years. That's not going to be the case. We got to fight for it, and you make Birmingham attractive. That's how you'll get it back.
Now, I have a question about that. According to the FBI crime data, for the past 5 years, most of the homicides in Birmingham City occurred in the residence and homes. That was where it was, or where it occurred the most. How do you plan to reduce such personal or spontaneous crimes?
Well, let me say this. I always say you got to consider the source of the information as well, because the city of Birmingham has done a lot, in my humble opinion, to hide what's really going on in this city. And, you know, they're saying that crime is down now. But for those who live in Birmingham, you hear the gunshots. You still know that there's activity that's going on. And let me, if you don't mind, Stephanie, let me just give this as an example. There was a gentleman that worked for the county, and God rest his soul. They called the police on this young lady. He worked for the county, didn't live too far from where I reside. And the police did not, even though she had shot inside of the home, the police did not arrest her. Anyone who knows the law know that you cannot shoot inside of an occupied dwelling. And she had already shot inside the home. Because she was not arrested, she then came back, allegedly, she came back and she drove over him, Stephanie, with his children in the car, witnessing their father being killed by their mother.
Yes.
Now, when you say, how do you stop that? That could have been stopped because she could have been arrested when they recognized, when they came to the home, she had already shot inside the home. That is illegal. You cannot shoot inside of an occupied dwelling. And the same applied to with some of the other crimes that I'm hearing. Well, they're amongst people that know one another. Well, then that should be a simple conviction. The mere fact you know one another, that means you know what happened. And because you know what happened, you should be able to identify the person who committed this crime. What's happened in Birmingham to me over time, we have taken on a violent mentality to believe that it's okay. And it's not okay. Whether you know one another, whether it is domestic in the home, sure, you want to be able to proactively provide counseling, provide services when you see that families are in trouble, whether it be mentally, emotionally. But if that's not provided, you still have to enforce the law. And that's what our other neighboring cities are doing in Jefferson County, and Birmingham will do the same.
Okay. We have a question. What is causing the loss of home rule, as you previously stated, and what as citizens can we do to prevent this from occurring?
Well, let me tell you something. I worked on years ago. They had constitution reform. That's what it was. If you look it up, you had several agencies, including AARP, and they were working on constitution reform of our 1901 Constitution, which really was against poor blacks, poor whites and blacks. Let me just say that. You just had to be black, but poor whites as well. And I found it very interesting, to be honest with you, that some of our people down there in Montgomery, they were the main people that wanted to make sure the power stayed in Montgomery. And that's why you have to, when you are talking about electing people, you have to know what they stand for, Stephanie. You cannot just say, because I like this individual, that's fine. Continue to like them, but ask, are they doing the job? Matter of fact, do you know the job? And if you don't know the job, are you going to try to learn the job? so that you can best represent me. Because remember, even in my representation as a county commissioner, if I don't know my job, it's almost like having a lawyer and you still have to defend yourself. If you go before a judge and that lawyer sits quietly or agrees with whatever the prosecuting attorney is saying against you and you are the defendant, what do, Stephanie? You got to go get you another lawyer.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's what we have come to not, we need to embrace that more. When people are working for us, we keep them. When they don't, we don't. We don't keep them. And I'm going to tell you something. In Montgomery, I don't think that we, especially in the Black community, I don't think we sound the alarm loud enough to say, you're going to have to loosen some of this control that you're determined to have because you're killing our cities.
All right, ladies, if you have any questions, please put those in. We're getting close to wrapping up, but I want to make sure we at least cover your question because again, that's what Commissioner Scales is here for. She wants to make sure she answers your questions to see if there's anything that you may want to ask her. All right, but before we do that, we have another giveaway. Our giveaway this time is a $25 gift card. So remember, ladies, if you have not, please type hashtag SCALES for your name to be entered into the drawing. So go ahead, ladies, and get those hashtag scales entered into the drawing so we can see who the winner of our $25 gift card will be. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to check and see what questions you ladies have, and we'll pop those up once we come back on. All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get that calculated, those hashtag scales, and see who the winner is of our $25 gift card. Congratulations and good luck, ladies. Okay. Here we go. And the winner is Pamela Wiley Pringle. Pamela Wiley Pringle, you are the winner of our $25 gift card. Once again, please send me your contact information and we will make sure to get that gift card out to you. Congratulations once again. And congratulations to our previous winner of our Let Them book. Okay, we're going to go back to our final question. And ladies, again, if you have any questions, because we're going to make sure we try to answer as many as possible.
Absolutely.
Yes, the theme of this series is Women on the Move. Yes. What is the one thing you would like our listeners to remember about Jefferson County Commissioner and Mayor candidate LaShonda Scales?
She works.
She works. That brand.
Yeah, we earned that name. I stand by it. And if nothing else that you remember out of everything, just know LaShonda Scales knows her job and she works. She works her job.
Absolutely. And LaShonda Scales has passion. And ladies, let us not misrepresent passion. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
That's right.
So let us not misrepresent passion. So she is very, very passionate about the city of Birmingham and about what she is trying to do to help Birmingham. So let's not get passion confused. All right, ladies, let's see what questions you have. I'm going to take one more from you, Miss Handy. What is your take on barricades or barriers in Black communities in attempt to lessen crime?
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it because, first of all, Eastlake is in my commission district. So I've been new about those barricades being put in place. But you're not keeping out the criminals. What you're doing is barricading those who actually live in the community. And so If you're talking about first responders, if someone gets ill or in the event that there's a crime committed, what you've done is made it difficult for the police to be able to adequately respond to you, because they now either got to get out of their vehicle, they have to take an alternate route to get to you. That's not how you solve crime. You solve crime because you're very intentional about having a plan in place that when crime happens, that's when we're going to make sure that we address it and address it quickly. So I don't agree with it. I've been down there, and for those who need to visit the area, they're concrete boulders, so you can't get by it. And so what the city did was some fancy paint work. But I say, why don't we pay more police officers so they can come in there and patrol that community, rather than you taking concrete boulders and treating those who live there as though they are the criminals. So I don't agree with it, and we won't have it, not under my administration. I believe when crime is committed in an area, we make the criminal feel uncomfortable, not the people who live there.
Okay. I love what Vanessa has to say. Assertive, not aggressive. Exactly. I love that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of strange to me. If you have a man, and I am so pro woman. So, I mean, if you don't like it, hey, but I am so pro woman. When a woman is passionate about her job,
Yes.
she or whatever her belief is, a woman, and especially a black woman, comes
Yeah.
across as angry, or an
Yeah.
angry black woman. But
Yeah.
if a man does the exact same thing, they're not labeled that. So
That's
I
right.
love what you're saying, Vanessa. It's assertive,
I
not
agree.
aggressive.
That's
Yes,
right.
it's passionate
Yeah.
about your belief or about your position. So I
As a
love that.
matter of fact, you know what I say, Stephanie?
What?
Um, if you call aggressiveness passion,
Mhm.
then that's the way we say as women. I want a man to be passionate about me.
Yeah.
I don't want him to just, come on, chase me. If that be the case, I
Mhm.
want you to chase me and feel good about this relationship. People who are passionate, I tell anyone, the puppet, uh, the puppets, when you don't care about people, you're not passionate. You can't even become passionate. But if you're passionate, that tells me that you really and truly care. So don't mistake I care about you as the angry black girl that wants to get even. We don't have time to get even. We have time to make and create equity.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. I know we've run over a little bit of your time. We thank you
No,
for
I'm fine.
hanging
I'm here as long
in
as
there
they
with
want me to
us.
be here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's make sure we're covering everything. Well, I'm going to take one more question from you. Saying, what do you do to deflect from interacting in the negativity? Now, that's a good one, surrounding the mayoral race.
Stay focused.
Yes, yes.
Stay focused. The
Mm-hmm.
best advice I can always give a sister, in which I am an example of that, is that I see life as I'm driving in whatever many lanes you have. And I've learned in life in general, not only with this race, but in general, stay in your lane, stay focused. Because every time I look to the left or look to the right, I find myself getting unfocused in my own lane. So the way I get away from all of that, stay in your lane. Stay focused on why you're running, why you are running, and what you plan to bring to the table.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
I hope Miss
Oh,
Handy feel the same way.
she
Yes.
does. Yes, yes. I stay focused. And I am a firm believer as well. I never take anything personally,
That's
because
right.
I'm like you. I'm going to stay in my lane, do my thing, so I don't take it personally. Whatever
That's
you
right. You got to
feel,
take the praise and you got to
yes,
take
you
the
do.
persecution.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So your day, that's absolutely true. All right. Well, we're not going to take up any more of Commissioner Scales' time. We want to thank you, Commissioner Scales, so very much for being a phenomenal guest on our Let's Talk Women on the Move series. Yes, yes. Your insight, transparency, and passion for public service truly inspired our audience. We appreciate you taking the time to share your journey and encourage women to lead boldly and serve with purpose. The Sister Queens salute you. All right. Now, let me ask you this. If someone would like to contact you with additional questions or concerns, how would they do so?
Well, first of all, you can always email me. You can go to my website, which is scalesbhm.com. That's scales, SCALEH, excuse me, BHM.com. And I'm going to also make sure that I provide you with a telephone number. Because I have women that always they inbox me, and I said, okay. So I'm looking up this number right now as we speak, and the only reason being is because I have to make sure that I do my my work as a commissioner and keep it separate from campaign. So first of all, I want to make sure that you all know that you can call this number, which is, and if you bear with me one moment, Miss Stephanie,
No problem at
is
all.
496-5548. That's 496-5548. And then you can always go to my Facebook page, which I'm wearing the little black dress, and it's under LaShonda Scales, LASHUNDA Scales. And I'd love to hear from you. One thing about me, I've always been not only transparent, but I'm so transparent that I want you to know I feel what you feel. So you'll be surprised sometimes the things you think that I don't go through, that's the superwoman you see. But guess what? I'm Linda Carter too, just like you are. So, I'd love to be able to sit and talk with you.
Absolutely. And congratulations, ladies, to the winners of our fantastic prizes. We truly hope you enjoy them. Congratulations, congratulations. And ladies, do not forget to send me your contact information so that I can get those gifts to you. So now, ladies, a heartfelt thank you to the incredible Sister Queens who tuned in for our episode 1 of Let's Talk 2025 Women on the Move series with the amazing Commissioner LaShonda Scales. Do not forget to join us next Thursday, June 12th at 7 p.m. for episode 2 of Let's Talk Women on the Move, featuring the dynamic April Ford, who's the COO, CFO of In Brands, home of Entity Productions and Infinity Spirits. April is blazing trails in business, branding, and balance, and she's bringing the real talk you don't want to miss. So set your reminders, grab your girls, and let's keep the empowerment going. So, ladies, I wish you an awesome night. So much love. Thank you again to Jefferson County Commissioner and mayoral candidate LaShonda Scales. And thanks to you, ladies, for joining us for this episode. Have a great night and so much love. Thank you, ladies. Good night. Good night.